Hello and welcome to Dayan Explains, hosted by me, Dayan. I've seen a lot of discussions about time travel. Usually, someone watched a movie or something like that, and they ask a question on one of those question and answer websites. Then they get responses from a bunch of people so rigid and uptight they can't open their mouths wide enough to drink through a straw. They're wrong. Let me explain why. That's a really popular plot device in sci-fi movies. What some people forget is we're traveling through time, well, all the time. Think about it. You're traveling into the future right now. If you weren't, you'd be frozen and unable to do anything. So, there. Time travel. Until the next time. No. There's a lot more to this time travel thing than most people realize. Many of those uptight people who balk at the thought of the idea of time travel miss the fact, as I pointed out, we're traveling through time right now. We're just all traveling at about the same speed through time. This video is going to be a bit of an introduction to Einstein's relativity. There are many aspects to it, and time travel is one of them. I'm going to try and explain this with as little math as possible. Like I've already mentioned in other videos, and as I'm sure most people are aware from high school, nothing can travel faster than light. But it's not just speed that goes into this. It's time, and it's often overlooked even in sci-fi movies. For instance, the galaxy is about 50,000 light years across. So let's say you tried to cross the entire galaxy on a spaceship that was accelerating so that people on board felt 1g of acceleration. For those who aren't aware, 1g is Earth gravity, like we feel here on Earth right now. Okay, yes, this is about time. So, since you can't travel faster than light, and the galaxy is 50,000 light years across, it should take a minimum of 50,000 years to cross it, right? Wrong. It takes 12 years. That's right, 12 years. 12 years to you anyway, but 50,000 years to everyone on Earth. Because time is relative. And that's where the time travel finally comes into this. The faster you go, the slower time goes. This allows you to travel into the future at a faster rate than someone who isn't moving, or at least experiencing acceleration, which goes a little bit beyond what I'd like to cover here. The idea seems impossible, but anything that uses the GPS satellites these days wouldn't work if the people who designed, built, and launched the GPS satellites weren't aware of the effect and compensated for it. This is because the satellites are going around the Earth at many miles per second. It seems like a lot, but it's a little compared to the speed of light. However, just like early navigation, modern navigation requires extremely accurate timekeeping, and those GPS satellites have atomic clocks on them to keep track of time. They need to compensate for what Einstein described as time dilation, because they are moving fast. Actually, no, that's false, because God didn't make the already extremely complicated universe that simple. Not only do they have to compensate for the time dilation due to speed, there's also gravitational time dilation. Being way up there in orbit means those satellites are experiencing less gravitational force from Earth. Just like the faster you go, the slower time goes, the more gravity you're experiencing, the slower time goes as well. The lower time dilation due to lower gravity actually outweighs time dilation due to speed. So GPS satellites are actually experiencing time faster than us. The result is, if they didn't compensate for both speed and gravity-induced time dilation, the prediction of where you are on the ground would become more and more inaccurate by several miles a day. This is actually touched on somewhat accurately in the movie Interstellar. When they got too close to the black hole, which has an extremely powerful gravity, the people age way slower than people on Earth. Only a few hours to them is like 20 years for us. Of course, this is extremely unrealistic because the amount of energy you'd need to accelerate through a gravitational field like that would go beyond any technology we have. And if we did have it, the mission they're doing in the movie would be a moot point. Something interesting about it, however, is that you could coast by a large black hole, so that you just swing by and don't go in. And yes, it would have to be a really big black hole. A small one would just crush the spaceship like a bullet train trying to pull a 180 at 150 miles an hour. Actually, it'd be way worse than that, but anyway, getting so close to something with that much gravity and going that fast could travel into the future much faster than anyone on Earth. Many generations could go by the time you get back to the Earth. Well, that's all well and good, but how do you get back? The short answer is, you don't. You're stuck. At least not without a direct act of God. As far as we're aware, traveling into the future is unavoidable, and into the past, impossible. Now, there are some theories that say it may be possible, but they all depend on unproven assumptions. Although there are some huge caveats with this, because traveling back in time is possible in certain circumstances. But the implications of it will probably take me a few videos to cover. And yes, I'm going to cover that, but not in this video. The bottom line is, though, you can probably only change things in the past that haven't been determined yet. Assumptions are fine for sci-fi and thought experiments. Of course, the real reason why it's impossible to travel back in time is because it would let you play God with other people's choices and lives. Don't like a choice someone else made? Go back and change things so they make the choice you want. Okay, so I've been going down a bit of a rabbit hole here. Let's get back on track. I said this was to explain an aspect of relativity, specifically time dilation. You've probably heard you can't go faster than light, and there are several interconnected reasons for that. Time dilation is one of the reasons. Basically, the faster you go, the slower time goes. Although, this is a bit of an oversimplification. Once you reach the speed of light, time comes to a complete halt. The same thing happens when you fall into a black hole. Someone watching you fall in would see you going slower and slower until you were pretty much frozen in place right above the surface of the black hole. What would happen from your perspective? Well, let's just say something much messier, and it's a story for another video. Given enough speed or enough gravity, you could travel anywhere in the future you like. However, traveling to the past is not possible. So it would be a one-way trip. There is quite a bit to unravel here, and this is only a small introduction to relativity, so stay tuned. If you like this video, please press the like button, subscribe to my channel, and ding the bell to get notified when I post new videos. Also, please support me on Patreon, link in the description. The more people who support me, the more time I can dedicate to making videos like this one. So, until next time, have a great week.